Welcome to this video about the psychological dilemma of trading and how one thing can really contradict the other. The multiple psychological difficulties that you're going to face in your journey in trading. And this is just from personal experience. And real quick, if your attention span can't get you through like this 15-minute video, probably more actually, then probably click off, watch some short form content that's just going to give you a little dopamine stimulation, because this video I'm going to be breaking down all these concrete concepts that are really going to elevate your trading and really just what worked for me. Things like talking about greed, fear, dopamine addiction when it comes to trading, everything that leads to both a failed trader and a successful trader. And right now, I feel like I'm neither. I feel like I'm in the middle. So this is just my journey as well. And I feel like this information would be extremely valuable to you if you paid attention. So let's get right into it. First topic is greed. Now, greed itself is like the core. That's why I'm going to be talking about it first. It's a core. It's the root of all problems. There's a famous saying, money is the root of all problems. And why are we greedy? It's because of money. Why are we greedy? It's because first off, we're materialistic. As a human species, like we want things that other people have or want things that we don't have, and whatever. Greed itself has literally caused like empires to fall, things of that nature. So the first topic within greed is overtrading. Now, overtrading comes in three forms: a lack of discipline, it comes from a lack of emotional discipline, it comes from ignoring the quality of a setup. Now, why does overtrading itself matter so much? First off, you can have a great week. I did $3,600 a few weeks ago. The next week, I proceeded to lose a couple of that thousand. And it was not mainly due to the fact that I would lose trades, but rather that I would lose trades in high volume. Some of the bad setups I take, they are simply due to the fact that my plan didn't work out. But the bad trades that follow that one bad trade are typically trades that are so easily avoidable, so easily like outmaneuverable, that I really should have just turned off my laptop when I lost that first trade. So certainly overtrading, and we're still working on that, to this day. Overtrading leads to a lack of discipline. So once you build this into practice that you're an overtrader and you're just going to continue to do it, like obviously you can always change behavior, you can always change your practices, but in the meantime, if you're an overtrader and you do this, it probably stems from revenge trading and the fact that you have a lack of discipline. And good ways to fix that, at least for me, is doing something physical outside of trading, like doing something difficult like running or hitting the gym, hitting abs. People don't like hitting abs when they hit the gym. And the reason why this works for fixing overtrading is because it kind of shows like you're facing physical difficulty outside of trading. So even if you have a loss, like your psychology will still be more well-rounded outside of just trading. So you'll be able to handle the loss well. Secondly, you're emotional. You take the losses too hard. You take it to the fact that, okay, if I lost this trade, I'm probably not going to lose my next one because I'm still a good trader, but that's just not how it works. The market doesn't care what type of trader you are. The market will eat you alive and chew you out. Eat you alive, chew you up, and spit you out a worse person. And definitely, like, there's been a lot of times when I've been at my desk raging, like gritting my teeth, fucking hard as shit, being completely emotional about the fact that I'm over trading, I'm losing trades, and now I have to face the fact that my account's blown. You know what I mean? So emotions and discipline play hand in hand. And then finally, this is kind of a niche one, but ignoring quality of setup. Obviously, like if you're over trading, you're not taking the best setups. You're only taking the setups that appeal to yourself. You're taking the setups that you feel like are going to make you a quick buck. And even then, we're cutting the winners short and we're letting the losers run. So either way, ignoring quality of setup is like one of the most easy ways to just see your downfall and blow your account, blow your funded and whatnot. Second one is chasing trades. When you see a trade not in the discount to buy, and for people that don't know what premium discount is, like premium means like you're at like the peak of the move and you're buying it in an area that's high risk, and discount is like before the move happens and you're just buying it low. And this also applies vice versa for shorts. But basically, if you are chasing trades, inherently what that means is you are impatient. You also were patient, but now you felt like you've been too patient. And third, you have a fear of missing out. And that's the first thing that I'm going to be discussing in this subsection. When it comes to FOMO, it comes in many forms, and the real stem is greed. You really want to catch the move because you've been watching it, but sometimes the better trader will let that move go and search for a more quality setup on a different day, different time frame, whatnot. So FOMO itself is inherently bad because fear of missing out. It's fear, right? So your entry strategy, secondly, is what I'm going to be discussing. And the entry strategy, sometimes it may not pan out. And when your entry strategy doesn't pan out, you start panicking. And panicking is caused from the fact that you're not able to execute what you originally wanted to execute. So now you have the necessity, the urge to press the button to execute at least on something, whether it's high risk or low risk, stupid or smart. So sometimes you just have to catch yourself and you have to prevent yourself from chasing trades. All of these things, by the way, that I'm recommending that you don't do, just so you can't call me a hypocrite, I do all of these too. I catch myself sometimes. You have to manually tell yourself not to. You have to manually avoid it. Next up is revenge trading. Revenge trading is terrible, obviously. But the reason why revenge trading comes into practice so much is the fact that we can't accept a loss. As a human, as a person that believes in their own capabilities, it's hard for us to accept losses. And that being said, when it's hard to accept a loss, it's also hard to go back into the markets with full confidence unless we make that money back that we just lost, right? So that is the stem of revenge trading. The inability to accept a loss and the inability to see yourself as a confident day trader. Therefore, we have to make that money back. There used to be a time where I would have no green days, and the only reason was because I would revenge trade and get lucky. And then one day that account was blown, and yeah, it's the cycle repeats itself, Now, next up, risk management. First off, risk management itself is one of the most important trading concepts, but many people misunderstand it. A lot of people talk about how only risk 1% of your account per trade or 0.5% of account per trade. I completely disagree. I feel like risk management is solely up to whether you're entering a premium or a discount, and even then risk management just literally means taking parts. It's not about how much you risk on a trade. If the trade is going against you, first off, cut it short. There's no problem with that, because why as traders do we cut our winners short and let our losers run? You know what I mean? So if a trade is already going against you, then that should be in your risk management plan. Okay, this my trade is not working out, let me cut it and look for a better entry. And if it runs without me, then it runs without me. You shouldn't fully trust your stop loss 100% of the time, because sometimes you will be wrong and you will have the opportunity to exit early. However, the first subsection that I'm going to be discussing about risk management is the fact that many people enter a position oversized, over leveraged. And the fact of the matter is they want to make more money faster. And that inherent greed is what causes a trader not to be good long term. Sure, you can make bank short term, but long term it's not going to pan out, because what happens when you lose 3 back-to-back oversized trades? Then you're cooked. Your account's blown and you're back into that depressed state of mind, that we're all too familiar with when it comes to trading. So certainly do not oversize, do not over leverage. Yeah. And next is no stop loss. First off, TJR and Togi, man, it was so funny. I was watching their stream and they talked about how if you don't have a stop loss, you can't lose. Yeah. The only thing you can lose is your peace of mind. The only thing you can lose is mental capital, right? So definitely do not apply no stop loss. That's just bullshit. Don't take off your stop loss if a trade is going against you and you still have confidence that it'll go for you, because like I said, let the winners run, cut the losers short. Risk management falls into practice mainly on risk to reward, right? So you always want to evaluate. There's always a tool on TradingView that you can find on the left side of your screen. This isn't TradingView, it's a flowchart tool, Whimsical or whatever. But on TradingView, you'd always have a little thing. Okay, it won't let me draw right now. But basically, you have a little tool that basically tells you the risk to reward. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just watch a quick video tutorial on it, or just practice with the TradingView tools. And that's important because I like to target 1 to 3. I don't really like 1 to 2 trades. I like trading 1 to 3 and onwards. And risk management completely is reliant on risk to reward. And the reason is because risk to reward is what determines whether your wins are bigger than your losses. And that's the only thing that's going to keep you alive long-term in trading, money-wise. Obviously, psychology-wise, we have so many other things. Now, the next section is dopamine. And the reason why I have a whole section dedicated to talking about dopamine is because there's so many different problems that our population has derived from dopamine itself. We have certain vices as a population. We have, and I'm talking about American populations. I don't really know how I can apply this to like other populations. I mean, obviously everyone struggles with their own vices surrounding dopamine. Like people struggle with like taking drugs. People struggle with other crazy types of things. When you're with your friends, you're constantly releasing dopamine because of all the jokes that you guys are making. Laughing sometimes even releases dopamine. So basically dopamine itself is addictive, and trading releases dopamine in your brain, which kind of alters its chemical structure. And the reason why dopamine is so serious is because once you're hooked on making and seeing so much green, so much money from trades, like it's hard to accept any losses, right? So first off, a winning streak. When you have a winning streak, you develop overconfidence, and that falls off of the two characteristics: invincibility and using excessive risk. First off, you have to be that type of person that can control your overconfidence. You have to be the type of person that's super self-conscious and aware that your overconfidence is dominating your mindset right now, and it's time to cut back on the risk. When I sense myself being overconfident, sometimes I'll increase the risk, but sometimes I'll really just use the same risk and like continue treating trading the same, although I'm fully confident and fully aware that I'm in a winning streak. However, that feeling of invincibility, we've all had that feeling before. It's simply it's the main characteristic of like revenge trading and losing streaks, because you feel like since you're on like this such a high winner, like you can't take a loss. And when you do and you have that actual like reality hit, then revenge trading comes in. Then you use excessive risk and blow your account. That also stems from the fact that as a trader, we are sometimes ignorant. Therefore, like our stop loss may be too wide. We may increase the sizing. Now, the most important one in the winning streak section, I feel like, is ignoring the actual market conditions. First off, there's low probability conditions. And for me, it took a long time for me to actually start identifying that like early in the session, early in the Asia session, early in the New York session. I don't trade the London session, but it's actually important to like kind of identify, okay, dang, we have low probability conditions. Maybe I shouldn't be trading right now. Maybe I should just hop off my charts and trade the next day, because like literally like I'll even pay attention to social media, and like other traders will be talking about how they're not taking any trades on this day, and like they're not doing all this extra stuff, so it's extremely important to understand what type of conditions the market's in. Lately in March, like we've been having pretty good price action. I've been liking it a lot. It's been better for combines and things like that, if you want to use excessive risk, because like sometimes I don't mind like doing that on combines. But basically, ignoring the market conditions is super key to blowing your account. One trend does not equal the other trend. So if you have low probability conditions the next day, that doesn't mean you won't have that the very next day, but that also means you will not have that. Okay, that was kind of a rant, but yeah, I mean, also catching reversals, this kind of applies there. Like you sometimes like price will give you order flow like in the opposite direction, and then continue going back in the direction that you thought it would reverse in. So it really doesn't make sense to apply every single trend to the other trend, right? So that's a big part of psychology, right? Making sure that you're aware of the appropriate market conditions to trade inside of. Now also, the next section talks about revenge trading and impulse, and how this is basically stems from impulsive decisions. As a decision maker in trading, you are not paid for the time that you spend at your charts. You are paid for the executions. You are paid for the actually you using your brain like every once in a while. Most of the time we're just watching. The other time we're just stressing over a trade that we're in, to be honest. And basically the reason is because we inherently are impulsive decision makers when it comes to money. When it comes to anything related to that green paper, right? Like we are going to be pressing that button a lot more often than we think. So impulsive decision making can be mitigated by you only taking 1 to 2 trades per session. And even one for me sucks. Like I typically don't even like to do one. I like to do 2 or 3. And basically impulsive decision stems from you pushing it past that, right? Like now you're just pressing the button. Now you're just losing. So that also just completely stems from revenge trading. Now increased size, discussed that already, but ignoring your preset rules, I feel like is the most important in this subsection, because we always, when you first make rules for yourself, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to overtrade. I promise I'll cut my losses short. I promise I'll keep my wins like high, whatever. When we actually have these rules, it feels so good. But when you break these rules and you actually lose track of like what you set out to do in the market, right? When you lose track of that and you break it one time, there's no guarantee you're not going to break it a second time. Now, like you're locked in that cycle. Now you're breaking your rules. You don't even care about your rules. And now you have to reset, and hit that reset button. So ignoring your preset rules is the fastest way to self-destruction. Alrighty, I had to switch cameras real quick. But the next topic is a trading addiction. This is the most dangerous thing in relation to dopamine, and it's actually kind of sad. A lot of people are dopamine driven when they're trading, and that causes them to literally have an addiction to trading. And this was me like a couple months ago. Now I can really tame it, but it's definitely like I still feel the after effects after a trading session. Like I used to trade all day, and then even then, like the market's not even moving, but I'm still looking at it. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Right? So basically, this trading addiction is fully dopamine driven. It's fully off the fact that you can't accept what you got, even if it's a really high win. You still can't accept it for some reason, and that's because you're addicted. You want more, you're materialistic, and you're greedy. And this is like fully symptomatic of a normal person. And why I say that is because it's completely normal to feel that way, which is why our psychology when we start trading and when we're in the middle of our trading journey and when we near the end of it, which I hope we're far from it, but our psychology has changed so much throughout the time. So yeah, but at the beginning and near the middle, we're gonna have to change that. We can't be dopamine driven, and we can't be normal freaking people when trading. We literally have to be in a different psychological frame. And the next part is gambling. Now, obviously, we have the dilemma of trader versus gambler. And what that means is, you have to ask yourself every day, are you a trader or a gambler? And based off of that, you need to set your decisions. You need to make your decisions off of whether you're a trader or a gambler. Because the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, a trader is someone who makes educated decisions based off what the market gives them, and is patient and waits for their A plus 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 setup. A gambler is someone who doesn't give a fuck, who will take that entry or exit, whatnot, whenever something is presented to them, whether they like the setup or not. They just want money, right? Trading is not always going to be about money. It's going to be about how can I optimize myself so I can optimize my cash flow, right? It's mainly about yourself. It's really not even about the money at the end of the day. Obviously, we do this for an income, but it tests you in so many ways that like a conventional education does not. Now, overtrading, talked about that. Some of these I'm just repeating, to be honest, sorry. But mental burnout, this is an important one. It's important to kind of see that you're burning out mentally before like you can actually like stop. I mean, before you actually call it quits, you need to see that and be self-aware of the fact that you're mentally burned out. And even if you were to take a winning trade right now, it wouldn't be worth it for your mental capital. We need to prioritize mental capital and physical capital, but mental capital is what allows us to build stuff long-term, right? Physical is always important for your mental, but mental is really key in trading. And the reason is because if your mind is not taken care of, if you're always invalidating the rules that you set for yourself, then your trading capital will slowly erode, but so will your mental capital. And it's easy to find yourself in a depressive state when you're losing money every single day. So that mental capital is extremely important. Avoiding burnout is important, but sometimes burnout is natural, which is why it's also appropriate to take like a 1-2 day break. I really don't recommend 1 week breaks from trading just because it's a skill, and just like any skill, we must maintain it and continue sharpening it and continue allowing ourselves to get better. Next is the short versus the long term. As we know, with dopamine addictions comes instant gratification. When we instantly get that little hit of dopamine from a green trade, then bang, we want some more. Instant gratification. But at the end of the day, instant gratification comes from taking micro scalps. Literally, I remember when my trading strategy was taking 30 to 40 trades a day, and like I would just blow the account by the end of the day. I'd be up like 1,500 at like some part of the day, and then by the end, it's like down 2,000. And micro scalping, man, it's just the fastest track to self-destruction. At least for myself, it works for some people. And also the fastest track to just instantly gratifying yourself every second of the day. It also builds like a complete trading addiction. And that's why I recommend, like, at least for me, like most of my trades are like above 15 to 30 minutes. Like that's like most of my trades. Very rarely I'll have like a 3-hour trade, but honestly, like the average on the Asia session keeps me super patient. The average on the Asia session is like 1 hour to 2 hours. Obviously you want to build patience and discipline. Like those are the two like key characteristics of like a good trader. All right, on to the last section, fear. Now the first part about fear is, if you go onto coinmarketcap.com or whatever, the crypto thing, the crypto like coin watcher, if you go onto that, they have a fear and greed index. You want to buy when fear is high, and you want to sell when greed is high. And the reason is because once the market already finds out about a move, likely that move is already over, right? So now people's greed is at an all-time high. They want to get in. But as a trader, we have to think in the unconventional mind. We have to think in the unique mind that kind of looks at everyone else as their liquidity. And it sounds egotistical, but it's very realistic to kind of separate yourself from the herd by basically doing what they're not, right? We're getting in the moves before it happens and whatnot, and we're exiting when the move is starting to spike up like crazy because now it's showing signs of reversal. We can cash on the way down, you know? So basically, FOMO, fear of losing money. I mean, no, FOMO, not FOMO, just the fear of losing money, right? First off, when it comes to the fear of losing money, that means that we're not risking what we typically would risk. We're not following our trading plan just because a trade sometimes doesn't work out. I know earlier I said exit a trade if it doesn't work out, but also there are times where you're just risking such a small amount of money where even if you were to exit, it wouldn't make a difference in your P&L. And that sounds like crazy to say, right? Because for me, like a small amount of money on a prop firm is like 150. And that's a lot of fucking money, especially in the real world because I have a job right now too. And man, it's 4 hours of work from fast food for like $50 and then subtract taxes, subtract like whatever. You know what I mean? So 150 being the stop loss, that's like literally 12 hours of work. It's so much money. But since it's a prop firm, it's not my money. It doesn't really matter until I have to pay that damn combine fee or like XFA activation fee, you know? So basically, hesitation. We hesitate because we are fearful. And honestly, as a trader, sometimes you just have to act. Even if your trading plan is not 100%, no setup is ever going to be 1,000%. You could be 1,000% confident in it, but still, in the market, there's always that probability. Like this is still like an educated guess at the end of the day. It's not guaranteed, right? It's never guaranteed. So that hesitation stems from the fact that the trade isn't guaranteed, but you still need to act anyways. Don't second guess yourself, obviously. Now, risk aversion. Risk aversion in of itself is like such a dilemma because why would you risk less to make, I mean, how can you risk less to make more? Okay, wait, I'm explaining that wrong. Risk aversion itself is a dilemma because if you're going risk off to make more profits, like it makes no sense because then you just have a tight stop loss. If you have a tight stop loss, it's more likely to be hit. So always just understand the fact that you can move your stop loss after the trade works in your favor. If it doesn't work in your favor, you can still cut the trade early, but you just don't want to be wicked out and things of that nature. And even if you do get wicked out, there's probably going to be a re-entry possibility, maybe more high risk, so then you can put less risk on. There's so many psychological ways to think about risk where if you really apply it, you keep yourself disciplined, you'll be great at it. And obviously like small positions, whatnot. But if you become over reliant on safe trades, that's basically the same as risk aversion. Now, like when your safe trades, quote unquote, don't work out, right? Meaning that like all your stop losses are being hit or like your safe trades are going like too close to your take profit than coming down, right? Your low risk trades. Then once you're too dependent on it altogether, you're just like you're not looking for any risky plays and sometimes the risk on plays are what makes us the most money because and it also teaches us good lessons. It kind of teaches us good stop loss placement based off of market structure, things of that nature. So sometimes I don't really advocate for only low risk setups, although I do like to take low risk setups. But for me, low risk doesn't mean the dollar amount. For me, low risk means higher probability of winning. If my stop loss is a little bit wide, it still could be low risk to me just because of the fact that it doesn't have a higher probability of coming back and tapping out my stop loss because I've already gotten the reversal signatures in price or continuation signatures in price. Bullish, bearish order flow, whatnot. You have to recognize that. So yeah, cutting profits too early. This literally like reversal anxiety sums this up. Like why would you cut like I do this all the time too, which I'm literally a victim of it, but sometimes it's completely necessary. But sometimes cutting profits too early, like, and then you watch and then back on the trading addiction section, like since you have this damn trading addiction, you can't get off your charts, and then you watch price run without you, and then you proceed to chase price, right? You proceed to chase the trade. So basically all this plays into each other. If you cut your profits early and you have a damn trading addiction, 9 times out of 10 you're going to watch it run without you, and then you're going to re-enter and lose money once it reverses the fuck out of you. You know what I mean? So definitely that reversal anxiety. Let your winners run, bro. Trail your stop loss, but let the winners run. So I don't really trail my stop loss at all. It's something that I need to get better at, but I have been like taking partials like sometimes and things of that nature. But if the liquidity objective is clear, then I'm letting it run all the way to it. Sometimes even I put my take profit like a couple points under my actual like liquidity target, just because I know like if there's volume in the market, then we could just come sweep it aggressively and then reverse, and I can maybe catch it both ways. But basically, Cutting profits too early also breaks your trading plan. So you're kind of breaking that psychological structure you set for yourself. Therefore, you're not following the preset rules that you have for yourself. Therefore, meaning that you don't trust yourself as much as you think you would like to trust yourself. Meaning, altogether, you're a bitch. So do not break your trading plan. Do not cut your profits too early. And certainly, like, if you don't cut your profits too early and then it runs back on you, that's what a stop loss is for. That's what a break-even stop loss is for specifically. So you literally do not lose shit on the trade. So yeah, like, you should most definitely avoid regret at all costs. And the reason why I say avoid regret, first off, psychologically, it's bad for preserving your mental capital, right? Where did I talk about that? Here in the trading addiction section. But also, regret is bad in general for the fact that for those of you who have a trading addiction and who want to mitigate that, like, regret's only going to make that addiction worse. You can't regret your decisions. I talk to myself a lot after I'm done trading. I'm telling myself, don't look at price. Don't regret that decision. It's okay if it ran past your take profit like 100 fucking points, right? That happens to everyone. But the biggest thing that I really tell myself, though, is you're not able to catch the full move. But as long as you catch, like, either most of it or a good portion of it, it doesn't fucking matter. Green is green. You know what I mean? Green is green. Holding losing trades. Man, and it really strikes us all. Holding losing trades. It's based off of hope. This is one thing that I watched in a YouTube video like a year ago. When you're trading off of hope, and you completely just stop trading off of fear and greed. Well, hope, it's kind of like hopeful trading. It's kind of greedy, but hope meaning, like, when you start praying during a trade, you know it's bad. First off, I've low-key done that and it worked one time. That's a stupid example, though. That's a stupid example. But basically, hope-based trading is just meaning, like, you don't have the discipline to exit the trade. Neither do you have the guts to. So now you're just leaving it completely up to odds and whatever the fuck the market does. And no disciplined, successful long-term trader does that. Hope-based trading is for idiots. I don't want to talk from a pretentious angle, but the fact that hope-based trading even exists for like a lot, like, many people out there, is like very, very inappropriate. Like, especially as a day trader that wants to prioritize this full time, like, you will not catch me doing that. You just won't. So I always have a stop loss. I'm not breaking that rule, and you shouldn't take off your stop loss for the simple logic of hope-based trading. Secondly, sunk cost fallacy. Now, your past losses do not determine your future wins, right? Like, you feel like, oh, okay, since I lost this trade, maybe I won't be able to win as much in the future. Therefore, since this trade's already losing, let me just let it play out. Let me just lose the whole account, right? The sunk cost fallacy is just like, since the damage is done, let it continue. You know, that's simply false. Like, just because you lose money doesn't determine, like, okay, you're going to continue to lose money. It just happens. Like, losing streaks happen. Losing this amount of money, that amount of money, it happens. Happens to the best of us. Happens to me still. And I'm not the best of y'all, trust me. Accept the mistake and move on, right? At the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. Holding losing trades stems from not being able to accept your mistake, not being able to move on. If you have a girlfriend, she breaks up with you, you're cooked, right? Like, you have, like, oh, I'm so sad she broke up with me, all this, all that. But what if, like, you never took her out to eat food? What if you never took her to the movies? What if you never spent time with her? Naturally, she's going to fucking break up with you. She's going to, like, go after someone that's more, like, valuable, right? But at the end of the day, you need to be able to accept your mistake. You can't dwell on the past. You can't dwell on the mistakes that you made. You need to accept it. You need to move on, just like anyone would when it comes to, losing money. You have to accept that, because the worst thing you can do for yourself is just enter that depressive state of mind, like, I'll be a loser forever, things of that nature. And I know there are traders out there who have thought like that. I know for a fact, because it happens to us all. I'm going to be a loser. There's no way I can make trading work. But then when you really see consistency, you know what's possible, and you can't go back. Market uncertainty. This is a tough one to handle, because sometimes we look at the market and we can't tell what type of conditions it's in. We can't tell if it's low probability or high probability. We can't tell, so it's really difficult sometimes. But that kind of builds the suspenseful aspect of trading. You're uncertain about the market, about what the market's going to do, and if everyone was certain about it, then we'd all be billionaires, millionaires, whatnot. But basically, market uncertainty also plays into market anxiety, and that comes from the fear of volatility. When you see price moving 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 candles per minute, right? You're going to fear it. You're literally going to be anxious when entering a trade, which is why you should target those low risk buys and low risk sells, whatever, vice versa. But basically, the fear of volatility stems from like unable to like being unable to size down. If the market's hella volatile, you need to size down your position. You can't like abuse you can't abuse the market. Like the market will abuse you actually first off, but you can't abuse the fact that the market's giving so many like crazy amounts of points for free, right? I mean, not for free. Everything comes at a cost when trading. It's either your mental capital or your actual capital. But basically, the fear of volatility stems from the fact that you're unable to size down when you see the market being more volatile and less probable. More volatile and less probable, you know? And what exactly does that mean? It's a seek and destroy model, basically. That's what more probable and less probable and more volatile means. So, yeah, and the easiest way to see that is just look at how is price trading, like what is its volume, things of that nature. I don't use any indicators, but volume based, like you can just tell based off how price is like actually moving itself. Why is my hand so fat? Okay, anyways, overreacting. Don't overreact to what the market does. Don't micro observe like every single little price action point. Only pay attention to those big important fair value gaps. Pay attention to the fair value gaps that reverse price, that were inverse on the way down. Things of that nature. Like don't overreact to price. Like price doesn't want you to overreact to it. You know what I mean? Price is probably chilling. Price action is definitely like, who is this moron overreacting to me? So I'm not trying to insult you as a viewer, by the way, but don't overreact to price. Don't think too much of it and go with the flow. Sometimes I catch myself in analysis paralysis, and that was low-key a clever way of transitioning into the last topic of the day. By the way, I'm recording this at 11 p.m. and honestly, I love trading so much, and this video has certainly helped me with my own psychology because it's just reinforcing critical topics that I need to reinforce for myself on a daily basis. But analysis paralysis is a final topic, and what that basically means is you're analyzing price to the micro, every little thing, 30-second, 1 minute, 5 minute, 3 minute, 2 minute fair value gaps, everything. And what you're basically doing is you're telling yourself, okay, if price reacts here, I'm going to buy. If price reacts there, I'm going to sell. But then when price doesn't react there, how are you going to react? Now you're going to wait for the next level. Now you're actually going to ignore what the market's actually doing, and you're going to just hope that it reverses at any random point that you draw on your chart. It makes no fucking sense, right? So basically, analysis paralysis means that you are unable to actually calculate what price is going to do. So you set a lot of limits for yourself and tell yourself, okay, if price does this, then this is how I'm going to react. Then when price completely disrespects that, you have no trust for yourself, and now you've lost money and you've lost mental capital. So do not fall into analysis paralysis. Only look at the important fair value gaps. Only look at the important levels, liquidity targets. Only look at the important SMT divergences on higher time frame. Only look at the important premium discount arrays. And yeah, analysis paralysis leads to inaction and sometimes the wrong action. So yeah, I hope this video really helped you. I hope this video reinforced like key topics when it comes to psychology and like the main psychological dilemma of day trading, and the fact that day trading is a lot more difficult than it looks, a lot more difficult than it seems, and the fact that day trading will test you. It will test you emotionally, physically, mentally. What am I talking about? It'll test you emotionally, mentally, everything. It puts a lot of stress on your mind, but being able to handle it will make you a stronger person. You'll be able to tackle a lot more things in life. Day trading has certainly made me care less about people's opinions and more about my own journey, and that's not in a selfish or pretentious manner, but in a manner that kind of shows that I'm prioritizing my financial well-being. I'm prioritizing everything that can lead to a better future, and that means psychological control, discipline, whether it's inside trading, outside trading, regular life, whatever. I'm prioritizing family time nowadays because I feel like it's just beneficial to spend time with your family. I felt like trading has led me to such a little hole, where I'm just like locked in for several hours straight, making content, trading, where I don't even spend time with anyone else. I don't want to be in that type of terrible work-life balance. I want to have an actual balance, you know what I mean? So, and that doesn't mean I'm just trying to, make excuses for myself about why I'm doing bad in any section, but rather I'm just trying to fix different aspects that could be worked on, and I feel like that's what trading helps you do. You're always working on your game, you're always working on, and in life, you're always working on your relationships with other people, and altogether, trading is something that you are always working on. And whether you like it or not, it's going to be around. The market opens up tomorrow, the market opens up the day after tomorrow, and it may not be open on, Friday night, Saturday, It's going to be open up on Sunday night. But the market is open. We always have another day to trade. So do not let these losses affect you. Do not let any wins affect you overconfidently, right? And just keep yourself grounded, keep yourself disciplined. That's what this video is about. The psychological dilemma of trading. It's natural, it happens to all of us, but it's about how we overcome it. That's the journey. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a like and please subscribe. And also please leave a comment on what you would like to see next, any feedback on this video. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a great week. And let's be great in our trading.